Everybody, welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Plan Commission, February 15th, 2023, public meeting. Supposed to start at 7, we'll start at 7:18. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan.
Here.
Mr. Foreman.
Present.
Ms. Bethauer. Present. Mr. Sharp.
Here.
Mr. Parker.
Here.
Mr. Capora.
Present.
Mr. Oliphant.
Here.
Mr. Austin.
Present.
Mr. Schlatus.
Present.
Ms. Abernathy. Present. Ms. Heidick is present.
Yep. All right, minutes, the November 9th, 2022 work session, November 16th, 2022 public meeting, and January 4th, 2023 work session. These minutes have been distributed to the commissioners. If there's no corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Parker, seconded by Mr. Sharp. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan.
Yes.
Mr. Foreman.
Yes.
Mr. Sharp.
Yes.
Ms. Bethauer. Yes. Mr. Parker.
Here.
Mr. Capora.
Yes, motion carries 6-0. First order of business, old business. Harvest Creek, formerly Silver Meadows preliminary plat for a 98-lot subdivision and rezone. Owner petitioner Diamond Peak Group LLC, 1313 Wayne Hawk Drive, Crown Point, Indiana. Vicinity of 9210 West 155th Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Request, petitioner is requesting preliminary plat for a 98-lot subdivision and rezone from agricultural to PUD. Hi.
Hi, I'm Mark Anderson, Anderson, 9211 Broadway, Merrillville, Indiana. I'm here with Michael Erbers of the petitioner. Michael's been up on several occasions, both in work sessions and otherwise, with respect to this development. There were outstanding issues with respect to the PUD documentation. Has been reviewed by the town's council. I spoke with Mr. Austin earlier today, and I think he signed off on the documentation. I think Mr. Oliphant has provided a few tiny remaining revisions that look to be taken care of, but I think he's signed off now as well when it comes to the engineering. And so I think we're at a position right now to move forward on requesting the PUD recommendation and then also primary plat.
Okay. Town engineer?
Mr. Anderson's correct. We issued a letter on the 10th with a couple remaining items, but we are recommending approval contingent on these being addressed.
Contingent upon your letter?
Yes.
What's the date on that letter?
February 10th.
Okay. Building department?
We are all good. I've been in communications with both Mr. Austin and Mr. Oliphant, and it sounds like we are all in order on our end here.
Everything's okay, all righty. Okay, if you have a seat for a minute, please. Are there any remonstrators for or against? Any remonstrators for or against? Seeing none, public is closed. Commissioners, any discussion?
No, sir.
Okey dokey.
We're good on the PUD, Mr. Austin?
Yes, I was gonna jump in if you don't mind.
All yours.
Thank you.
They're not on the agenda.
Then I won't jump in.
I'll pencil you in.
I'm asking you, I'm inviting you.
Thank you, thank you. There are two actions to be taken tonight. You have, and you notice the conjunctive and in the regarding PUD zone map amendatory ordinance with site, or with a PUD agreement, and there's the subdivision plat, which is a primary plat application. So those two are dependent upon each other, but they are separate legal actions that are required. That's first. Secondly, council's correct, and I have reviewed with him and with staff the documents that we've been fine-tuning over couple months worth of time, and we've landed with full agreement on the content. There are, and my only request of you in any motion consideration tonight would be that you allow us to put the space fillers in, their dates and numbers for the documents, et cetera. Just basically a cleanup. If that's part of your motion, we would do so. Finally, when you make your motions pertaining to the PUD, referencing specifically the PUD guidelines and the PUD development agreement as conditions of the PUD approval, plus the zone change, the residential use components of it would be important. Then we make a complete record and certification that Ashley completed today and we worked through. We'll reference those items as necessary for the transmittal from you to the town with whatever your recommendation, or town council, excuse me, with whatever your recommendation is. Final point. If in fact you agree with what's been said and you make favorable motions, certification from you to the town council would be appropriate based upon the conditions I just recommended. And you would see this matter probably on the agenda for the town council as it is next Tuesday, as it is, well, it was 98% complete 2 weeks ago. It's 99.5% complete now. We would have it ready and available for the town council if that was your action. Happy to answer any questions. Developer and legal counsel have been very cooperative to work with through this process openly and with candor, and it's gone well.
Is there any order to take these motions?
It really doesn't matter because they're dependent upon each other. So if you acted on the primary plat, it would be contingent upon the approval of the PUD zoning application, or vice versa.
That's a lot of stuff, John.
Yeah, I know. Do you think I remembered all that? Mm-hmm. I was writing as fast as I could.
So essentially, from legal standpoint, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Austin, so proper date fillers within the document as well as PUD guidelines, conditions, and as it pertains to the application.
Correct, correct. We've been addressing this at public meetings since November.
Okay.
So we just need to catch the dates into the document. We didn't want to do that unless we knew you were acting tonight affirmatively or otherwise.
Got it, thank you.
Which part needs to be done first, you think, Dave?
I
The
would
subdivision
think
plat?
that's the simplest of everything here. It's a one-lot subdivision with site plan. The site plan is embedded into the PUD itself, and they're each contingent upon each other. So,
Because we have it on the agenda as preliminary plat first, it looks like, and then,
yeah,
Read
it
it.
says and.
correct.
Okay, if there's no other further discussion, let's entertain a motion for the preliminary plat for 98 lot subdivision.
I would make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for the 98 lot subdivision and to rezone from ag to PUD. I would have two contingencies, one from engineering and contingent on the 2/10/23 letter by Christopher Burke, as well as the items read in the record by legal, which consist of proper date fillers within the PUD agreement and meets the guidelines and the conditions as discussed on the application.
Is that going to be one motion for both those?
That's a good motion for the PUD,
PUD.
for the zoning. That's what you're considering.
Okay.
Doesn't that have to go to the town council?
Zoning will.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a favorable recommendation or unfavorable recommendation or no recommendation?
And that was a favorable.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Foreman, seconded by Mr. Parker. No discussion, roll call please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Stashower?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capros?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Now, what's the second motion is to be,
Primary plat.
Primary plat, okay. I'll entertain a motion for the primary plat for this subdivision.
I'd again make a motion to approve the primary plat for the 98 lot subdivision.
Motion made by Mr. Foreman,
Second.
second by Mr. Sharp.
I would also make that item, or that motion contingent on the Burke Engineering 210 letter, as well as the legals as described in the prior motion.
I'll second that, yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capros?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
one last item, and if I might, I would like to read this into the record. It would be very consistent with the town's relationship with this developer and property owner that our documentation be locked down by contract type principles. This is the certification I recommend that you send to the town council, now that you've acted on each of the PUD and the plat, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. This is certification. Staff has prepared it. We have reviewed it. This is to the town council. This is going from you to the town council. Pursuant to the requirements of applicable law, the Plan Commission of the Town of Cedar Lake, Lake County, Indiana, by its duly designated representative, hereby certifies to the Cedar Lake Town Council the application of owner, Diamond Peak Group LLC, and petitioner, Diamond Peak Group LLC, for the zone map amendment being sought from zoning ordinance number 1402, from the current zoning of said property, Chapter 5 Agricultural A Zoning District Classification, to Chapter 9 Plan Unit Development PUD Zoning District Classification, for the property located in the vicinity of 9210 West 155th Avenue, Cedar Lake, and legally described by the attached legal description that is appended to each of the primary plat and to the zone map mandatory ordinance. I will fill in, this was blank. This favorable recommendation certification is approved by a vote of 6 in favor and 0 against upon motion duly made and seconded at the conclusion of the public hearing on the application aforesaid in the public meeting held February 15, 2023, upon the following terms and conditions, named 1, conformance to and compliance with the approved Harvest Creek Planned Unit Development Agreement and Planned Unit Development Conditions, or guidelines, dated, I presume it'd be dated today, Mark?
That's fine, yeah.
February 15, 2023, presented by the owner and petitioner for said project and zoning application, copies of which are attached hereto and incorporated herein. 2, compliance with all terms of subdivision plat approval, including required plat conditions and engineering requirements. 3, compliance with all conditions of the Plan Commission for its favorable recommendation certification for the PUD zoning district classification applied for and set forth in the approved public meeting minutes of the Plan Commission in its November 16, 2022, January 18, 2023, and February 15, 2023 public meetings. The copies of said Plan Commission public meeting minutes are attached hereto and incorporated herein upon approval. 4, compliance by the owner petitioner with rules, regulations, and requirements for project development in the town of Cedar Lake, as well as all applicable town ordinances, as all are amended from time to time. And 5, payment by the owner and petitioner of all fees, costs, and charges incurred by the town related to this application petition for PUD zone map amendment and subdivision plat approval, including engineering, legal, and all related. The reason for that is so the documentation closes with the full understandings of what this is. We started with a land swap transaction, if you'll recall, with this developer and in a very cooperative way, and that benefited us and it benefited them. But now we lock down the legal and the understandings in the town's files and understandings for the developer by way of your actions tonight. I recommend you make a motion to direct the President of the Planning Commission to execute this certification.
Question. The approved minutes won't take place till March, correct?
They'll be appended when they come. It's intended that we make the file right and the documents connected to right paperwork, Bob.
All right.
So we need a motion for me to sign that?
That's my recommendation.
All right, then do we need to make a motion to send it to the town
That
council?
certification does it.
Certification
It
does
says
it,
you're sending
okay.
it to the town, and all the documents that we talked about tonight, the items that will be appended, the exhibit, the PUD guidelines, PUD development agreement, the legal description, the subdivision plat, that'll all be a package that the town council gets
Okay,
by way of this certification. You'll also hear me talk about tomorrow night what certifications mean, and findings of fact and conclusions and the like, and this is in furtherance of that also.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend the agenda and also make a motion to, for the certification document that was read into record by legal, to be signed by our planning commission president.
Motion made by Mr. Foreman to sign the certification, an amended agenda to put this on there? Is that what you amended?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kill two birds with one stone.
correct.
I'll second his motion.
Seconded by Mr. Parker. No discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer? Yes. Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capuro?
Yes, motion carries, 6-5.
Thank you all.
Good luck with the kickoff of your guys' project.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
I hope the interest rates stay favorable so you can move this,
Agreed.
the homes.
Agreed. Thank you.
Yep, good luck.
New business, Centennial Estates Phase 1, conversion of performance letter of credit to maintenance letter of credit. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, good evening, Jeff Yatsko, Old Top Homes. We're just seeking to convert our letter of credit from performance to maintenance. We've completed all the punch list items. We've provided the original letter of credit to Ashley, so we're here just seeking tonight for that approval.
Okay,
Donna issued a letter on January 6th, if I remember correctly, stating that everything was good to convert this to maintenance letter of credit. Mr. Yasko reached out about getting this on the February agenda to convert to the maintenance. It would be an amount of $107,235.11.
$735?
$107,235.11.
For a period of 3 years.
Okay, any discussion? Think we went over all this already. I'll entertain a motion to approve this conversion to maintenance letter of credit.
Do we need that done contingent on your letter, Don?
No.
So moved.
Mr. President, to Heather's inquiry, I would recommend that you do attach Don's letter to the maintenance letter of credit, so there's a easy reference to it for purposes of entity.
I would amend the motion to include the Christopher Burke Engineering from January 6th, 2023.
Not in here. My apologies, it should be in your February 1st.
Did you get a second, John, or you?
No, I'm looking at Don's hard copies, Heather, that's why I knew the date. It's not in our packet electronically.
Take my second. Go ahead.
Oh, there's no second yet.
Heather. Maybe.
It's just a brief paragraph, and then it's just a breakout of spreadsheet on sanitary sewer improvements, water main improvements, storm sewer improvements, and then the second page was roadway improvements, Parish Avenue roadway improvements, and last, detention pond construction, miscellaneous.
Okay, I had a motion to approve the conversion of performance letter of credit to maintenance letter of credit, along with contingent upon Don's letter of 2/6/2023?
1/6.
1/6/2023. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Deschauer. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes?
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capros?
Yes, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Number 2, Summer Winds, Unit 1, extension of the performance letter of credit.
Similar to units 2 and 3, they got this in right before the pool dates. It was on the town council's agenda for acceptance last week on the 7th. They've accepted it. This is just a matter of you guys accepting the extension as well.
So we need to make a motion on it.
It is in the amount of $244,187.85.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the extension of the performance letter of credit?
I'll make that motion in the amount of $244,187.85.
Motion made by Ms. Deschauer,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Parker. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Foreman?
Yes?
Mr. Sharp?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Capros?
Yes, motion carries 6-0. Update items, building regulations and fee amendments,
Still working on it.
real close.
Yeah.
Number 2, I would imagine the same thing, 133rd Commercial Quarter moratorium.
Even closer than that, we're drafting.
Okay. I don't know, could we do number 3, Beacon Point East, Unit 1, performance letter of credit expires May 4th, 2023.
We're coordinating with Schilling to potentially roll that one into maintenance.
Okay. Number 4, Beacon Point West, Unit 5, performance letter of credit expires May 19th, 2023.
That one similarly, that one might have to be extended for a little while until they get final coat down. But we'll have more information as we get closer to that date.
Okay. And number 5, Hanover Community School Corp. performance letter of credit expires May 24th, 2023.
That one is most likely very dependent on water. They've had some issues with their water, so that's primarily what that letter of credit's for. So we're going to have some discussion with School Corp and how their building's progressing. So that one's going to be interesting.
Is it our water they're having issues with?
Well, it's a private development, but we have a public water main going through it. And they're sort of done with construction, but they've had some issues with certain items.
It's
Process
not,
of getting Public Works in there, inspecting it, improving it, getting as-built, which I don't think we've even seen one round of them yet. So, they got some work to do.
When they drilled the extra well, watering the fields, was that something that they had to go through the town, or did they just do it?
It's a private well for irrigation. No, they may have had to register with the state.
Okay.
Okay. Public comment.
I have a question.
Yeah, I want to bring something up too, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Greg?
Chris, I keep hearing about these other proposed developments that are coming, like the Brunt Farm and South Shore Golf Course and Bay Bridge, and where are we at with any of that? Can you give us some insight on when that's coming, or what's going on, or do you know, or is
I can tell you that there was a concept plan that was submitted as part of an annexation, that has not come before the Plan Commission yet, and as far as any other potential developments specifically regarding that developer and his other 2 projects, there's been no official communique to the town regarding any concept plan, or renderings. So just
It's all
rumor
hearsay.
that he would
Till it
like to
comes
get
to this
started
board.
on it, but it has to come before the board, and there's been nothing official.
Okay.
At the last work session, I tried to get online to listen into the entire meeting. It was challenging at best. Then when I did walk out to where it was quiet, somebody's truck alarm went off, so I kind of got drowned out, so I apologize. But anyhow, there were two things I want to bring up tonight. The one is, unfortunately, Chuck Becker, who did a good job helping us out here on the Plan Commission, sent in a letter of resignation. That being said, Chris and Dave, we used to have a building inspector. When Tim was our part-time building inspector, he sat on this board. Is there something legal that says a public inspector that is an employee of the town still can't be on this board? Because it seems like it would be valuable for somebody from that.
There's a simple answer to that, John.
Yeah.
The statute does permit, you go to 3674-207, I think, and you'll see the makeup of what our advisory plan commission is. But you three council members who are appointed by your council to sit on the plan commission take the three available seats.
I see.
If one of you or more determined you wanted not to be on, this body, and left a vacancy, a town employee, staffer, somebody affiliated with the town could fill that spot. It isn't that the elected official is the identified credential. It
Gotcha.
is the affiliated town person.
So an employee still can.
Absolutely, and it just depends on the community.
Right.
Every community is different.
Well, now that we've hired some help for Tim, and I just think it would be maybe something we should consider.
That means you, Rich, or I would have to, one of us would have to go.
Correct.
That's correct.
So it's something to think about, sleep on it or whatever. But I didn't know if there was legal ramifications or something that had passed that changed that.
No,
No, that's always been the same for a while.
What's your opinion on it, Chris?
the community I previously worked in did just that. The council members of that community elected not to serve on the plan commission, and appointed town staff to serve on it in their stead. Because that is, as Dave mentioned, the state statute.
Gotcha.
So they have no town council representation?
Correct. It is, as Dave said, a policy decision amongst those that serve.
But most plan commissions are 5 members, aren't they?
No, I believe
No.
it's 7.
Is it
Advisory
legislative?
plan
7?
commission is 7 members.
And John, you're suggesting 2 council members. So
Yes.
just one of you.
Perhaps.
Step down.
Perhaps. And then my second question, and maybe we can cover this tomorrow night in our training, but we have a master plan that we haven't updated for a while. We last updated for the 41 corridor. We have given some multifamily housing along railroad tracks and by, recycling centers and spots that maybe are good for multifamily because there's older folks that are empty nesters that maybe are snowbirds, so on and so forth. So that discussion last month on the work session, we have areas of our town that we have our zoning the way it's been forever. So in some regards, I feel like years ago we were crazy. We just let people build duplexes on any old street in town, and all over around town, east side, west side. You drive around the lake, go up and down some side roads, you'll see guys have apartment buildings and duplexes all over the place. So we never had really rhyme or reason. But for those folks near the trailer park that were wanting to change that, I know it's R1 today, and I wasn't a big fan of the big tall buildings and things like that, but it seems to me that, it's next to a trailer park that has, maybe not zoned RT, I'm guessing, right? Trailer park or RM?
PUD,
Well, PUD is trailer.
Well, we changed it to a PUD just recently.
2016?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that we as a body, maybe in addressing the update to a master plan, should say, okay, where are these areas that might make sense, an RT versus or an R2, versus, hey, the chances of somebody wanting to do R1 here and here are slim enough.
And then, on the flip side of that, we should say, as a planning commission, hey, where do we want R1? You know, and what does that look like, percentages wise? Because we all know that we're about 30% RT right now, right? And a lot of developers are bringing in the units per acre and pitching the green space and that sort of thing. But I just think it's something that should be addressed because it's not gonna go away. As more people don't wanna go outside, they wanna have someone mow the grass, and they wanna lay on a couch and play with their phones. It's a type of housing that people, I guess, like, because we certainly have a lot of it in our community, but,
Sean, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you,
yeah.
because there are plenty of places in town that have the zoning for the type of development that that gentleman wants to do.
Right.
We already have that zoning. It's in a lot of areas.
Mostly PUDs, right?
Not necessarily. There's other areas that we have that zoning.
And I can respect that, I just think we should say,
Well,
an update for the master plan.
I'm saying this, when you start changing R1
And that would come back then.
to other zoning,
Yep,
you open up the opportunity for everybody to change their zoning. As soon as you do that one time, especially with your new zoning ordinance. Now, if that's what you want to do, and with all due respect, why spend all the time and money and effort on a zoning ordinance? Or a zoning map? I mean, just because somebody decides that they want to buy a piece of property and make money,
yeah,
you're gonna change the zoning. I disagree with that vehemently.
yeah,
I'm not an elected official anymore, but I'm a
Right.
citizen appointment here. As a
Sure.
citizen, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Don't spend a lot of money on zoning ordinances and zoning maps if you're not going to adhere to them. Because the only reason why those gentlemen are standing there
yeah,
wanting that zone change is because it's an opportunity. If you're willing to be taken advantage of.
for sure.
So,
But every duplex subdivision, whether it was Lennar, Schillings, Altoff, over the years though, did the same thing.
they did developments that
They did PUDs.
had multi-family
Right.
and a PUD agreement. You don't have to do that, but if you start doing it, you're gonna do it for more than just one person.
Well, our master plan, it's been a little bit of time. I'm not saying to change it either, Greg. I'm just saying we should make, we did the zoning ordinance, and the zoning ordinance was mostly updating the regulations. In the last master plan change was for the 41 corridor primarily. But it's been how many years?
2018.
4? Has it been that long already?
So the US 41 corridor was done in 2021. Prior to that, the last update or amendment to it had been in 2018, and that was an amendment to the 2012 comprehensive plan.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I don't care about those two gentlemen that were here. I'm thinking, wow, that might have been a way, in a place, to spark maybe the changes to that whole trailer park area, that's all.
Well, that whole trailer park area, at
But
some point.
economies of scale should take care of that.
Well, at some point, that ground may be too valuable for a trailer park, and it becomes a higher-end development. Now you got a couple rental duplexes,
In the wrong spot.
and by their own admission, this is all motivated by money. I, for one, am not volunteering time here or spending time here
Yeah.
or to make developers rich. I've got no interest in that whatsoever.
For sure.
I want to see this community have a future, a solid, constructive future where people can raise their kids and have a good life.
Yep,
I don't care who makes money. Don't give a damn. Not gonna start.
yep.
And, I don't think that's what any of us are here for.
Yeah, and that's the reason I brought it up, is because the last month at the work session, I brought it up when it was a very bad connection, and then my car alarm went off, and
The money
that was
thing-
my
The money
strategy.
thing was in that presentation, and that always, excuse me for getting off on a tangent here, but I always get a real sour note when I hear that.
Right.
Because these people are not here to make people money. R2 zoning, that's real profitable for those folks, and maybe they did pick up a lemon, but I bet they picked it up at a bargain price. And when you start a precedent like that, you're gonna have vultures all over this community
No,
doing the
and
same thing.
then, there again, Lambert poured concrete for him and the guy couldn't pay for it, so he took the property over.
For a house.
So I agree with Greg, he's just out to make some money there. Why didn't he just build a house?
Well, and the reason I'm bringing this up is, we did a zoning overlay district to help people fix their houses up that have houses on 25-foot lots. We're trying to let the folks that have been taxpayers here come to the building department, pull a permit, fix their place up and make it nicer, right?
That-
We all know that.
But that's not a 25-foot lot.
No, I understand. So what I'm trying to say is, in an area that is older, maybe run down or what have you, some of those trailers are pretty old. I believe that the Clean Lake will help change that, Greg, 100%
More
right.
likely.
And I just think though, if there's other areas in our town that we would like to see, if there's no rhyme or reason why it's, R1 and there's really no spot to build more than one or two houses on a little piece of zoning that's R1, we should identify them as all. I'm not saying we change the zoning, because you just improve people's property values when you do that. I just think that
If you're not careful with that, you're gonna have
The master
people
plan.
splitting existing buildings and splitting existing property, and you will just have, it's like going back to 1978.
No, I'm not saying we're gonna do it everywhere, Greg. I'm just saying, are there areas that we should look at maybe updating the master plan? I mean, that's really it. And then I use that as an example of, could that be an area identified by, change? And maybe not.
I think.
Are there other areas in town?
I think you
Maybe
blew
not.
Heather's mind when she heard you talking, and she wanted to hear you.
Yeah, I'm an R2.
My head about.
I'm against RT and RM, 99.9% of the time. I was just trying to say to myself, would that be an improvement for our community, for our town? New construction, would it spur some other future growth,
My concern is. we
economic
haven't gone-
development in that area?
My spreadsheet friend, who has
Yeah.
done spreadsheet on spreadsheet.
30%.
On all the multis in this community,
Yep.
and I'm with Greg on that, we're setting a precedent. We've never gone, in my 6 years on this board,
Right.
6 years, we've never gone in that direction once. And all it takes is the one time, and it's gonna be a disaster
Yeah.
in here.
So that's where, I just wanted to finish my thoughts from the work session, because it was a tough connection.
Yeah,
That's all I have.
yeah, you definitely blew my mind that night.
Yeah.
I apologize for the tangent.
No, it's good debate. This is what we're here for. This is our planning
It
commission.
wasn't a tangent.
It's to talk about
That here-
the betterment of the
Sorry.
town.
It just does,
I'm with you, I agree with everything you said.
So if you want that kind of zoning, you buy the property, and maybe you buy it contingent on getting the zoning that you want to do whatever the project you want, just because you had an oops with a developer,
Yeah.
and you had to pick up the pieces somehow.
They should have built a house like
That's not a hardship.
with the concrete, foundation.
Yeah, again, on that situation, I went and looked at it because of the height of that first building. But in this situation, like I said, I could almost have gone either way with the change to that from our R1. But R2 probably makes more sense.
I
Versus
envision,
a duplex.
that area back there, not in the next 5 years, but going forward, being a beautiful spot to live.
Yeah.
At some
Nice
point,
back there.
at some point, that lakefront parcel that
It is nice.
WPM owned, I don't know who owns it now.
White Lodging, I think.
White
still
Lodging
owns
owns
it.
it. At some point, that whole thing is gonna get developed, and it is gonna be high-end.
But it's not going to be if we start plopping duplexes in the entrance.
No,
No.
agreed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it.
That was a hard no for me, and it continues to be a hard no for me, personally.
And so, yeah, Chris, I just think, it's been 3, 4, 5 years since we've updated the master plan. I mean, is it time or is it not necessary?
It's not time to add RT and
No,
multifamily.
you know I'm not a big fan of RT and RM. I'm just trying to make our town better.
John, you're gonna get them with these PUD developments, whether you want them or not.
We've got them.
You're gonna get so many that it makes me sick every time they bring them in here.
Right,
Because that's just about money too.
yep.
Oh, there's a lot of people that are getting rich off this community, and I think we need to demand the very best product, or richer, the very best product that we can get them to build, if that's what, I mean, that's, to me, that's good planning and good conservation of the community. And, the more we let them get away with and the cheaper that it is, and if it becomes all about stuffing their pockets and leaving town, this community is not going to survive, even with
Agreed.
all the work that's been done.
That's just never a good approach. I'm here because I wanna make more money.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they expect us to do?
I didn't hear that. Is that what he
We're here to
said?
make more
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that
that's
makes
pretty
me
cool.
angry, too, I don't get it.
Yeah. I had a challenging connection, I'll just say, so yeah, I didn't hear most of that, it was difficult.
I was here and I had a challenging connection.
Very good.
Have you all
That's all I had,
given-
Mr.
have you
Chairman.
all given some thought to, given the dialogue, maybe start germinating, having, somebody like Veritas come in here, take our comprehensive plan, and not make a new comprehensive plan, but kind of tell us what we have. When's the last time anybody here, and me included, looked at our comprehensive plan?
To that extent,
It's part of the findings of fact in every zone change under section 603, comprehensive plan.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but there were some things that Veritas presented in the past that I thought was
Picture consultant, they're ours.
off. I mean, those guys are consultants for developers. I don't think they're necessarily interested in the community. They're interested in profit. But I will, and in agreement with what you're kind of saying, the R1, if it's R1 zone, then they have to come in here and petition to have a zoning change, even if it's a larger parcel that needs to get developed. If we approve a PUD, and I imagine we're gonna approve a lot of them, that's on us. But I'm not, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't know if Veritas is the group that I would trust to do it.
Forgive the Veritas suggestion.
And Greg, in the past few years, they've hired more people, they've done a lot more work for cities, so it might be time to take another look at that from your viewpoint. I remember the days when they first came in here.
Jen, you know what consultants I'd like to see come in here is ones who are interested in representing the community and not people that want to stuff their pockets and leave town.
For sure.
You know,
But when you do
it's
that,
a
regardless of the
fine line.
consultant, when you do that, you're presenting it for public opinion and people's input. That's, I mean, 20 years ago, we did the package, all filled out, right? And we created our master plan based on the feedback from, I think, the chamber did a big push, and that's kind of what created this vision for the town, was all the people that did the filling out of all those surveys. And so from that comes updates, and when you do updates, you gotta get people's true input. Have people come in, take a look at the boards that are up on the easels, and say, okay, what is the big time direction?
I feel like that's the problem though, is people don't spend it, like these people should have a vote that are here and that come to
Right.
these meetings, but you have too many people that sit at home on the internet, have no idea what's going on in this town,
True.
and vote or speak uneducated. So,
True.
how many meetings have we sat here with no one out there?
It's a good suggestion though by
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Austin, I think.
I don't know what Mr. Jansen has done with the Veritas Group in the last 5-6 years. I just know some of his presentations here were more in favor of people who he wanted to encourage to invest in things than people who are living here and looking at the community as a whole.
Yeah, the way, you're talking about the town center and also down by Midway Gardens. That was the first time I think used it.
All that conceptual stuff is good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, thoughts and plans are always good, but when you're talking about other folks' private property without including them in the conversation,
That was odd.
that becomes insulting.
Yeah, that was an odd.
And that happened.
That was an odd introduction. I agree with you 100%. And that was the first time we met him. And that's the pitch that was made.
Yeah, there was a pitch made and nobody's input was requested. And, I feel like people work hard to acquire property or whatever, I mean, however they acquire it, they work hard, they pay their taxes, and it shouldn't be offered up to an outside entity, especially if you're not even gonna consult with them about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's it.
Okay, any other public comment? None? We're adjourned.
Thank you.